What's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. Hope that you are safe. This is Garnet Walters here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to play authentically from whatever genre or era you're going to be playing in. This is going to be more about the sounds I'm going to be using. So, if you haven't checked out the last video where I was talking about this rig here, where I created songs based on era, and I have a song list here, and I created patches based on those songs. You might want to check that out first. So for this video, I'm going to be using a sound that I created called an 80s pop rig. So the first tip when it comes to sounding authentic is trying to find sounds that fit that style or era. So since I'm talking about the 80s, I'm going to have a bright piano. So something kind of like this. A really nice bright piano. And then I'm going to add the MK80. Now the MK80, it has a very digital kind of sound. It's kind of like a FM electric piano. That's the best way I can describe it. But it has a very digital, warm kind of sound. The next keyboard I'm going to add to that is going to be the JD800. Now the JD800, it also has that FM electric piano feel, but I find that it has a lot more sparkle to it, and you tend to hear that kind of sound when it comes to ballads and stuff. So the JD800 is always going to be a great fit. But the main point that I'm trying to make is make sure that you find the sounds that fit that time period. So in the 80s, look for pianos and keyboards that were in that decade. In addition to that, you also want to find some auxiliary sounds that create that kind of feel too. So you want to look for anything that's kind of synthy, especially with the bells. So something sounding like this. Sounds like that, because those kinds of sounds were pretty big in the 80s. Another way you want to sound authentic is you want to understand what the chords are during that time. So usually in the 80s, they weren't playing a lot of really lush chords like that, like, things like this. Unless it was like, jazz fusion or something during that time. But like, I'm thinking more about like the pop stuff. So they were playing more like triads and, major sevenths or minor sevenths, right? So something's kind of like this. So the final step in all of this ties the first two steps together, which is details, details, details. You want to make sure that in whatever style or era you're playing in, that you're paying attention to those voicings and paying attention to the sounds that are being used, because that's what's going to help create the authenticity in your playing. So in doing this, you're going to have to do some research. You're going to have to figure out what keyboards were out. You're going to have to figure out those chord voicings, and you want to get as close to what you want to sound like as possible. This isn't just going to be playing on the surface. You're going to have to really dig deep and try and match as many sounds as possible. Now, if you nail it and you get the sounds that you want exactly, then that's great. But there are going to be some sounds that are kind of close to it, but you can get by with it as well. So, you don't have to put a lot of pressure on yourself, but at the same time, you don't want to shortchange yourself in trying to sound as authentic as the song or the era that you want to learn from. And as a byproduct of all of this, you'll be surprised how much stronger your hearing and your attention to detail will be. Like, you'll be able to hear sounds and say, hey, that sound is from this keyboard, or that sound is from that keyboard. So you want to make sure that you just pay attention to everything that you can and get as close to the sound as you want. And you know that you're doing it right when someone who doesn't really know music, they'll come up to you and they'll tell you how that song brought them back to a time in their life or something. And that's like the ultimate compliment. So those are some tips that you can use to help you get to learning things authentically. So in the comments, I want you to type what your favorite genre or era of music is that you want to learn, or you have learned and you continue to study. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about studying. And we're always going to continue to study different styles and genres and eras of music. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for taking the time to watch the whole thing. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave something in the comments, or you can reach out to me on social media. I'd like to thank everybody who subscribed, and if you haven't subscribed, please press the subscribe button. I really appreciate the support. We're trying to just continue to grow and help each other and learn from each other. So once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Peace.